What's up, y'all? What it do? 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 What did I do with that? Hope y'all having an amazing Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Hopefully everything y'all got set out to do, y'all get accomplished this week. Shout out to everybody, no matter what platform y'all joining on. We're on multiple platforms right now. If this is your first time on my live, you don't know who I am. I go by the Sabo 103. I'm the dude that get on these live platforms, and I literally just try to provoke thought, y'all. I get on here and I believe truly that if you think, if you research, and you take action, you absolutely, without a doubt, can win. It's truly up to you. I figured I had a little bit of time right now, so I'll just pop on live and chop it up with y'all. Been doing content basically all day today, and getting things rocking and rolling with the network. And I've had a little bit of time. I got uh probably about like 45 minutes or so that we can dive into some stuff. And I know people been DMing me asking me left and right, hey man, you be on live sporadic now, man. You don't be on live as much. I'm like, yeah, I know, man. I be grinding, man. I be on some other stuff, man. I put the work I gotta put in for my network, and I handle the other bits that I gotta handle because we on a journey, though. And we're not gonna stop regardless of the situation. So with that being said, let's see who we have up in here right now. And I'm not sure what's going on my TikTok. It's like fading in and out. So I'm not sure what's happening over there. But if you're on my TikTok right now, shout out to y'all. But again, I'm not sure what's happening over there. But if this is your first time on my live, put a one in the chat. If you've been on my live more than once, put a two in the chat. Just want to see who we got on the live so we can kind of figure out what direction we want to go in at this point. I'm not sure what's going on with my TikTok. My TikTok is just going in and out, in and out, in and out. It's kind of weird. But nevertheless, I digress. What's up, B? It's been a minute, family. It's been a minute. Shout out to you, man. 100%. Other platforms, we got some new people here. Again, I'm not sure what's happening to my TikTok, so I'm going to take it down. I was live on the network on Monday at 11:30 a.m. The next time I'll be live on the network will be tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. and that's Eastern Standard Time. So I'll be live tomorrow afternoon. What's up, family? Yeah, the network notification, there should be emails that go out, but as far as like text messages, they're gonna hold that until the app is complete. My team is in the process of completing an app. Once the app is done, all the other stuff is going to go away. And what I mean when I say all the other stuff is going to go away, meaning that you're not going to have issues with notifications. You're not gonna have to, do the login thing like how you did when you sign up for Netflix when it was just a website. It'll just be download the app, subscribe. Once you subscribe, you're in. As long as you subscribe, you just click on the app and you in it every single time. The notifications will come just like how they do on social media at that point. So that's coming soon. They told me about 9 months from the time they started. They've been working on it now for about 2 weeks. So we got about a little bit less than 8.5 months left, and then the app will be up and running. It's crazy when you think about these things because just imagine real quickly about 56 days ago, there wasn't even a network. It wasn't even thought about. 56 days ago, there wasn't even a network at all. And how it was created was simply because of the things that we go through on social media, right? That's why I was created. 56 days later, it's here, and less than 8.5 months away from creating our own app. So we gonna grind, y'all. What's up, family? Yeah, I had to go out of TikTok and come back in it, but for whatever reason, I was doing some odd stuff going in and out, in and out. So shout out to everybody that's bouncing back on from my TikTok side of the house. We'll see if it sustains itself. If it's not, I'm on multiple platforms, just FYI. But we do got some new people over here. I'm not sure how many people are new on my TikTok because I had to shut it down. But on TikTok right now, if you're new to my live, put a 1 in the chat. If you've been here for more than one episode, put a 2 in the chat. What's up, family? And then I know people still coming up in here, so we'll get them up in there. But I only had like 30, 45 minutes to be on live today. So you changed my life the first day, fall into your life. Hey, family, I appreciate that. But I can't take your credit. I cannot, hold on a second now. I cannot take your credit. I cannot take your credit at all. It is, I'm honored, obviously, to hear somebody say, "Hey, man, you changed my life." I appreciate it, but I didn't change your life, family. You changed your own life, and that's where the gift is really at. You made a decision to do something different. No one could have ever made you go that route other than you. So, while I appreciate your kind words, that's a celebration for you making the change. And it's 100% something that's buildable because you can build from that type of success because you made a decision to do something different. That means you hit a target. That's amazing. So shout out to you for making the adjustments because most people don't even take that step. That's a big step, family, 100%. But, I got on here a little bit yesterday for a little while. I chopped it up with y'all for a minute. And again, I've been kind of like, when it comes to social media, I'm kind of in that mode where I just want to basically I'm just giving all my time and my information to the people on the network, flat out. So if you're not over there on Zabo103tv.com, I don't know what you're waiting on. We're going up and we're going to continue going up. And we're going to continue to do big things. But I do get on my social media platform from time to time and kind of holler at the people that are new and holler at the people that's been around for a couple of times that haven't got over there to the network just as of yet, mainly because I know that it takes for people to hear and see things. What's up, family? Hear and see things more than once, twice, 3 times, 4 times for certain things to click. And I know last night on the live, I came on late last night. I'm talking about super late. Super late for me, I should say. And we just got on here, we just bounced some things off. And it made me realize that when I get on these live platforms, I think I'm gonna do more of that, right? You just bounce some stuff around, you know what I mean? Because again, this stuff is about provoking thought. It's designed to make you think. And that's what it's ultimately about. So for me, all my new people that are on the live, again, shout out to y'all. My day one people, shout out to y'all. If you have questions for me, go ahead and put them in the chat. No matter which platform you're on. If I know the answer to it, I 100% answer it. It just is what it is. If I don't know the answer to it, I'm just going to tell you I don't know. If I do know the answer to it and I can't really say it on here, I'm going to tell you I know the answer, but I can't share it on this platform. It just is what it is, y'all. So I'm gonna try to be as transparent as possible because I think that's important. But if you do have questions about anything, 100% ask the question. And I think that probably would help more people versus me just coming on these live platforms, just giving you a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe the stuff you can use, maybe the stuff you didn't know, maybe the stuff you got to digest, but maybe there are things out there that you've been wanting to ask that you haven't had a chance to ask. And here's your opportunity. So let's get it. I started business back in 2000 and man, it's been that long. 2016. Yeah, 2016. Appreciate your family. 2016 is when I officially started my very first business, if that makes sense. And I went through some, man, I went through some things. I did. I went through some things. When the businesses started clicking, I would say probably back in like 2000 and probably like 18, 2018 is when it started being like, oh man, this stuff is gonna go at some point. 2019 is when it started to like just really start to get to a place where it's like this is gonna take fully off. 2020, during the pandemic, oddly enough, it exploded. It 100% exploded. And from 2020 all the way up till now, 2025, we just been rocking and rolling. So hopefully that answers your question. So let me make sure I understand your question correctly. And I think a lot of people ask this question, which I guess maybe that is helpful or maybe it's not helpful. I'm not sure. But if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? Um, if I had to start all over from scratch and do it all over again, I would have been more heavy when it came to the different insurance policies, life insurance policies, and more heavy when it came to the different strategies. When I very first started conducting business, I wasn't heavy in life insurance policy. I had the normal life insurance policy that most people have for themselves, their family, and stuff like that. But I wasn't heavy into it like I am really today, right? Like how back then I'm like, all right, I got me a life insurance policy. It's a $500,000 policy, and that's cool. Or I got me a life insurance policy and it's $1 million policy, and I'm good. You know what I mean? My family gonna be straight. You know what I mean? I wasn't borrowing money from my policy and making the adjustments that I needed to make in order for those things to transpire, right? Um, but knowing what I know now, I would have been running every dime through a life insurance policy. The same way you run your money through a checking account, you get that direct deposit. Every dime go through that checking account first before you start touching it, doing anything with it. Well, before I start touching it and doing anything with it, it'd be going to my check. It would have been going to my direct deposit, going to my checking account, and then going directly to my life insurance policy. And then I would be touching the money. And the only reason why I'm saying it is because I understand now, even when you borrow that money from the policy, your money is still inside of the policy getting compound interest daily tax free. And that's a powerful tool. And people underestimate that tool alone. With the right strategy, using your life insurance policy, it can change your life quicker than you could ever imagine. It really can. And that's the part that becomes like, whoa. Understanding what I understand about land today, if I would understood all that back then, I'd have been playing Monopoly in real life way before now, right? Every year I would have been buying land every single year, the same way I do today. Every year I buy land. Every opportunity I get, I'm buying land. I went and looked at 52 acres. What was it? Yesterday? Day for yesterday. Yesterday. One of these, couple of days. My days are running together, y'all. I went and looked at 52 acres of land, and it seems like a pretty solid deal. My brother is up there now checking it out, doing his due diligence process, and as long as my brother green lighted, we're gonna put a bid in for it. I don't think we got any other people gonna be bidding with us, so we're gonna make them an offer. And once we make them an offer, we're gonna really just go from there. I think that's where the rubber's gonna meet the road for the most part, because we're gonna put ourselves in a position where we can basically ultimately win if we decide um, to just make that move, which I think is going to happen. It looks like it's gonna happen. Any suggestions on life insurance or any life insurance? I mean, like companies. I don't really like advising people on which companies to do. What I typically would tell people is if you go to like New York Life, Omaha Mutual, Mass Mutual, shoot, State Farm, Allstate, any of those big insurance companies, and you speak with a licensed insurance broker, just tell them to give you an illustration of all the actual policies that they have that have a cash value, which is a living benefit. Um, and then let them talk to you through all those different products. And then you can kind of make the best decision on which one of those products are the best products for you. I'm not going to tell you, hey, go get you a whole life insurance policy, even though that's what I love whole life insurance policies. That's just me. But you got some people that like IULs. And those are like insurance policies that are attached to the market for the most part. And most of those policies have fees. So what's up, family? So it just depends on what you got going on and what's going to be the best for you. But any of those major companies are going to be good. Realistically, it's just going to be up to you. Says great, yeah, in that land. Right now we at 347 and a half acres of land as of today. If we add that 52 acres to it, we'll be pretty much a half an acre shy of 400 acres, which we're gonna, before the end of this year, my target, at first I was saying 1,000 plus this year, but I kind of backed off of it because we got a whole bunch of other stuff that we're doing currently right now. And I don't know what the business capital and what the trust capital is gonna look like for the rest of the year, because we got a lot of things happening, especially like when me and my wife added our network, Zabo103TV.com and KWNetwork.com. When we added those two networks for our next businesses, I didn't know how much stuff really goes into having your own network. And this is like, it's new territory for us. And it's so many moving parts with it that we're adding a bunch of stuff to it. Like for an example, we're going to start with my wife first. We have a reality TV show that's going to air on her network first, right? And it's going to be around obviously weight loss and stuff like that. And then my reality TV show, which is going to air on my network at Zabo103TV.com. That network, I mean, that reality TV show is going to air after my wife's, and that's going to be surrounding, people starting a business and getting out of their rat race and all those different things that you hear me talking about. I'm going to do a reality TV show around it in real life, just so people can, they can see it. It's one thing for you to hear my journey and where I came from to get to where I'm at today, but it's something different when you see it in real time with somebody else that's starting exactly where you at. And that's where it gets kind of like, whoa, that's insane. So we got reality TV shows that's going to come out on each of our networks. And man, I didn't realize, how much goes into it, not just money wise, but time. It's so time consuming. It don't even make sense. So that's going to be fun, nevertheless. And we're going to go from there with that. But, and I kind of went all the way around the world with that. But you got a whole life for your kids. Yeah. Whole life for everybody. Because what people don't understand is this, right? And this is the crazy part, right? If you strategize the right way, the way the wealthy people do, so you really ain't strategizing, you're just mimicking what the wealthy people do. I appreciate your family. You're mimicking what the wealthy people do. Every person in your bloodline, as soon as a baby is born in your bloodline, they should be getting a life insurance policy. Now, you do have a time frame that you have to wait, right? When they are very first born, but nevertheless, as soon as they're able to get a policy on them, you need to be getting it. They're not ever going to be younger. They're not ever going to be more healthy than they are from when they were first born. So you're going to have to make those things happen expeditiously, because the younger they are and the healthier that they are, obviously, right, the cheaper the policy is. You get it? So you can put yourself in a position within your lifetime to where you never have to work ever again in life. Your kids will never have to ever know what work means other than working for the family business. Your grandkids are instantly trust fund babies. Like, you, in your lifetime, you can see all of these different things come into fruition if you understand the process that you have to take to make those things happen. And that's where people be like, man, people be gatekeeping. That's where people be like, man, you got to be lucky to be born like that into a family like that. You don't have to be lucky. Somebody in your bloodline just got to make the sacrifice. And if it ain't you, then it's just going to prolong until that person come along. But the reality of it is not luck. It's you following a clear process with a proven track record that has worked for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. That's the truth. A lot of people try to get out there and be like, I need to go and make all this money. Well, that ain't really true. Because once you understand money, you understand what it is and what it's not, and what it's supposed to be used for and what it's not used for, then the reality of it is you're gonna realize very quickly you don't need a lot of money. In fact, if you have a job, I don't really care what your salary is, that's a lot of money. And a lot of people don't understand that. Nope, man, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. Please understand, you put yourself in over your head when it comes to you living paycheck to paycheck. You caused that to happen. Anytime they're saying, okay, for you to get this apartment, you got to make 3 times the rent. That means that's a third of your income. Anytime you go get a mortgage, you can't be above 35% debt to income ratio. That's still a third of your mortgage. Your rent, your mortgage is the highest bill that you have. That means your utility bills that you have left over is nowhere near a third of your money. And if it was a third of your money with your utility bills, your groceries, maybe a little daycare, whatever it is, that's 60% of your money. You still got realistically 40% of your money. How did you get above that 40% of your money? You went and created all these extra bills, which made you have an additional job. Every time you go create a bill, you're giving yourself another job and another boss. People can't wrap their brain around that because they think their job's supposed to pay them more money. No job is going to ever pay you what you work, boys and girls. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. I was sitting down with the builder down there on property number 29, talking to him yesterday, and going through this whole septic tank thing that we got to go through down there, and bombshell. Yeah, that's gonna be $21,000. I got bad news for you. It's gonna be $21,000. I didn't blink. That's not bad news. That's amazing news. Why is that amazing news? I have a number, right? Not only do I have a number, I have a date that is actually going in and it's getting completed. That means that job is 2 weeks away from being complete. That's amazing news, because now I see all the mistakes that I made, and I understand that I could have saved myself almost 50 grand on that property. A lot of people don't understand that, because in their mind, they only hear, man, that's a crazy number that you got to spend for just that one thing, man. And there's still other stuff that's going to happen, man. That's not good news. It's about your perspective. Has nothing to do with anything else. It is truly about your perspective. So when I think about all of these different things that I could have done differently from where I started to where I'm at right here today, I mean, I don't have no regrets in my life, because every experience that I got in my life was beneficial. But the reality of it is, if I was able to alter those two things, buy land every time I get an opportunity, running all my money through a whole life insurance policy, taking advantage of that living benefit. If I would have changed those two things, call it 9 years ago when I very first started conducting business, I wouldn't have been at Bank of America for 20 years. Never would have happened. It never would have happened. In fact, 9 years ago, if I would have started that process 9 years ago, within 2 years of me doing that process, realistically, I would have already left Bank of America. So that means that realistically, I would have been at the bank at that time 11 years. That means I only would have been at the bank 13 years, not an additional 7. If we're being honest, think. And I'm saying 7 years, but it ain't really 7. It was more like 4 years. Instead of being there 4 years, I'd have been there basically 2. So it'd have been 16 years versus 20, if that makes sense. All right, family. Tomorrow, yep, we're going to be on it. But those are the things that you got to make sense out of. And you can't keep going back and forth about what you should have done, what you could have done, because the reality of it is, none of that stuff matters. Sure. None of that stuff matter, y'all. None of it. What matters are the results that you're getting. What's up, family? The results are what's important, y'all. Everything else is irrelevant. You can talk the game. You can be the most articulate person on the planet. You can be whatever. So with the whole life insurance policy, there are a lot of companies out there. So you have to choose the best one for you, right? So I got policies through a lot of different companies, a bunch of them. Mass Mutual, State Farm, Allstate. They got one called Penn Mutual. I mean, they got all type of stuff out there. So I got multiple products with multiple companies. So it's really going to depend on you and what you're trying to do. Like, I think sometimes what happens, and this is not a negative, this is just reality, right? A lot of times people look at what companies are out there that they can do these different things with, or how they can do different things. But instead of just looking at them and seeing what's the best one for them, they try to go in and mimic exactly what someone else is doing. And I'm not against it, but the reality of it is, you still got to make the best decision for you, right? And here's why I'm saying this, right? Um, and here's why I'm saying this, right? I'm saying that because if, how can I say this? Let's say you got a life insurance company and you don't have a lump sum of money you put in there, and you're not able to structure it in a way to do anything. And they be like, all right, you got to wait at least 3 years before you can actually access your cash value, right? Until you're fully vested, right? And you be like, all right, bet I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I think that's the best way for me to do it. Because Zabo, when he first did his, he had one where he had to wait 3 years on it. That's the first one he did, right? And you put your money in there and you're like, oh man, I need that money back, but you can't touch it. You get it? Now, you could look at the other way. Well, Zabo structured his where he can take the money out immediately. He had a policy where he had structured it out where he could take it out immediately. He dumped $300,000 in that policy. He was able to get 85% of that money back out. I'm gonna do the same thing. And you dump that money in there, and then you go to try to get that money back, and then they give you 85%, 75%, whatever it is that their company will allow you to do. And then you realize what you were going to use the money for to do what you had to do. Now you had to worry about paying it back. And if you don't pay it back, then it's not the end of the world, but at some point you want to because you're taking money out of your policy and it's taken from your death benefit. You get it? So I always tell people you have to make the best decision for you. It don't matter who tell you to do whatever. Research these things so you can make the best decision for yourself. That's what this stuff is about. Hopefully that makes sense. If well, let me say it this way. The tax, so those tax details, so like you talking about like if you have somebody, they have back taxes, right? And they got back taxes and you are paying their back taxes through the county, right? And they're turning around and they have, I guess, 3 years to pay you back. I tried to play around with that before, but it goes back to one of the things that I try to stay away from. Like, I want to get as closest to the source as possible. And I know when you look at doing different things like that, you're looking at situations where you're trying to find the lowest entry of barrel interest to get in so that you can start making whatever money you believe you're going to make. And the reality of it is that it don't ever really pan out that way. You'll wind up spending more money by trying to get in at that lowest number possible than what you would if you just did your due diligence and figured out how to accomplish what it really was you were trying to accomplish. If you're really trying to buy homes and you say, I can't afford to build no property right now, I mean, you can look into what's called subject twos, where you are actually technically finding homes that people own or whatever, and you're basically going through a closing process with them, with the title company for the most part, and you're getting in between that property where you own it, you're taking control over it, and you're making those payments back through that title company so that they can get their mortgage payment or get the payment to the owner that have it, where you treat them like a mortgage. So look into subject twos. I mean, there's so many other things out there. If you want to wholesale properties where you're not spending none of your money get in, I mean, you can go find deals and put them up on a contract and still, find buyers for them. You could. You want to be a bird dog where you go out and you find stuff and you just give the investors these leads on these different homes that they can get, and if they close them, they give you a fee for it, $500 to $1,000, depending on how sweet the deal is for them, and you negotiate all that. You can make all that stuff happen. So, I mean, it just depends on what it is you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. But the one thing I will tell you is that whatever it is, do your due diligence. Do not play around with um, the lack of understanding, because the reality of it is you got to live with these results. When I created Zabo 103 TV, right? My own network. When I created that network, I created that network to make sure I can get all the information out, all the experience out, all the know-how that I understand firsthand how to get it out to you. So you'll have it. You can go watch it as much as you want. When we go live, we can talk through some of those different things. We can make all this different stuff happen, right? Even with all of these different things that I put out there on my network, guess what, y'all? I'm in the state of Georgia. You might be in the state of California, the state of New Jersey, wherever. The laws are different in every state. It's going to be in the same vein, but the way you get the same results, you might have to do something a little bit different. So you still have to do your due diligence to make sure you're covered. That's what this stuff is about, y'all. Research over me search. Every day, all day. Research over anybody, because that's what it's about. What other questions out there? I feel like I missed some questions. Say you new here. Welcome. Welcome, family. If you're new, appreciate you tapping in. What's up, love? Welcome, 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 welcome. That's unreal, man. What's up, family? How you feeling? BT in the building. California is worse. I'm gonna put it to you like this. The scary part about the stuff that I be sharing over at Zabo103TV.com, right, is this. No matter if the laws are different, no matter if you're older, younger, you make a lot of money, you don't make a lot of money, you put, how can I say this? The stuff that I be talking about for the most part, y'all, you can do anywhere at any age. It don't even matter. And that's the part that's really crazy about this stuff. The other part of it is that all the things that you ultimately want to do, there's a legal way to do everything. And that's what's really crazy, y'all. That's what's really crazy. What's the best price for 60? That I don't know. I can't, it's no way for me to tell you that. I would have no clue. Thank you, Lux. I was just about to say that too. You would need to sit with a life insurance broker or agent and get you some illustrations, because the reality of it is they're going to be the only people that can tell you that. Your age is not just the only thing that's going to go into it. Your health is going to play a part in it. You're going to get tested. And all that stuff is going to determine what is going to, it's going to determine what is going to what is going to cost you. It can get pricey the older you are. 100%. Do you guess? I don't know what that means, family. What do you mean when you say that? Do you guess? What does that mean? Do you guess? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it can get pricey. 100%. 100%. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of the term policies, people be jumping on the term policies ASAP, because it matters your age and your health, all this stuff matters, but they typically are way cheaper. So I got me a term policy. Like, all right, great. That's cool. Let's see if you can get it converted over to a whole life insurance policy. Maybe you can bypass the testing. I don't know. Maybe. But it's one of those things where if you want some form of a game changer in your life, especially if you're trying to build wealth, You got to have that life insurance policy up under your tool belt, especially the ones that have that cash value, that living benefit, because the reality of it is it's a amplifier. It's a straight up amplifier while you living on this planet. And it's an amplifier when you leave this planet, right? So it's only going to enhance what you already got going on. When I think about it, I look at asset protection. Make sure I say the last 4 or 2 lux in most states. That's a fact. But it's one of those things where when I looked at a life insurance policy, when I very first started understanding it, this was my thought process coming from Bank of America. If I put my money in a savings account, right? And my money's in the savings account and I got $20,000 in that savings account, right? That money, let's say I'm gaining 3% interest on it, right? I'm just going to say 3%, 4%, right? That 4% that I'm gaining on it, I mean, the reality of it is it's more than nothing, sure. But the chances of me leaving that full 20,000 in there for the whole year slim to none, because life happens, y'all. We know that. Life gonna happen regardless of how we look at it. So we all also know if that money that's created off of that 20 grand in that savings account, if it's more than $600, I gotta claim that 600. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying, right? Uncle Sam want to know that you got that income. It just is what it is. You made some money. They want they cut, right? Watch this. The minute I touch that $20,000 that's sitting in my savings account, that money is just out doing whatever I got it doing. It's not gaining no interest. It's not doing nothing. I just took that money out, and it is what it is. When I put it back in there, it'll start over again, gaining money back. If I put that money in a life insurance policy that got a cash value on it, it's in there. Let's say the number is 4% too, just random, getting the exact same 4%, right? I want y'all to think about this. When I pull that money out of my life insurance policy on the cash value side, and I'm doing the different things I'm doing with that $20,000, my $20,000 is still in my life insurance policy, gaining compound interest daily, tax-free. When I figured that out, when that finally clicked for me, I looked at a life insurance policy as a savings account, the best savings account that you can get. Because as long as I got that policy and I'm borrowing from that policy, I'm still getting credit for it still being there. And it's tax-free. I couldn't wrap my brain around ever having a regular savings account anymore. I don't care if it was a high yield NSA, I don't care what it was. I could never wrap my brain around it, because if I were gonna save money, it's only going into a life insurance policy that got a cash value. Why? Because when I take my money out of it to use it, I'm only borrowing it, so it's not taxed. That's number one. And number two, it's still gaining the same compound interest daily. I couldn't unsee that, y'all. That's how I looked at it. And that's the part that I was like, whoa, this is unreal that more people don't use policies. In fact, when you talk to somebody about a life insurance policy, they think it the worst. What you trying to do to me? What are you talking about? You trying to take me out? Man, you leaving this planet. Ain't nobody got to take you out. You don't want to leave something behind to your loved ones? This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. And just like I talked about last night, and I don't know if this is true. I don't know. But I do have a question, right? And this is only a question. So I want to make sure I'm asking this the appropriate way, right? And this is my question. So the bank is a lending institution. I think we all know that because I done said that 100 million times. The bank is not a holding facility, right? Being that the bank is not a holding facility and the bank is a lending institution, right? Their goal is to get deposits in so that they can lend money, right? It's just a thought, okay? If you went to the bank right now and you told that teller all the cash that you have in all the cash I got in my bank account, I want to withdraw it right now, they will look at you like you were trying to steal something. What do you need all that cash for? Can we wire it somewhere? Can we do a money order? Can we do a certified check? Like, why do you need the cash for? We can wire it to wherever you want to wire it to. No, I don't want you to wire it anywhere. I just want the cash. If it's too much cash, they will tell you, we're going to have to order your money. Now, we all heard this before. You know this, right? But they didn't have to order the money for them to get your cash in the bank, but you got to order the money to get it out. That's an issue for another day, right? I'm not the smartest person in here. I ain't never gonna claim that. I'm not saying this is real, what I'm about to say. But what I am gonna say is, what if, knowing what I just explained, if I put my money into a life insurance policy that got a living benefit and a death benefit, if I put the money in there and I borrow it out, and the money that I borrowed out, all of that money is still in the policy gaining compound interest daily, tax-free. Watch this. What if every time when you go and you open you up a bank account at a different bank, if I was just a bank, I don't know, what would stop the bank from opening up a life insurance policy with the money that you deposited in your bank? And every time you get ready to take money out your bank, they take a loan so you can have access to borrow your money. And every time your direct deposit go in, it's paying back the life insurance. I don't know if you can do that legally, but if you could do that legally, I'm gonna leave that conversation alone. I'm gonna say that one for another day. Maybe my brain is doing something odd over here, and maybe, just maybe, these banks look, said buy your life insurance with your company, then it can be a business expense. Coley, I'm with you on that one, family. I'm with you on that one now. You saying some stuff. You saying some stuff. You say that's dirty? Why would it be dirty? Why would it be dirty? It's not personal. It's just business. Public business. Or it's a private matter. Don't let those things go over your head. Tax code 162. I like that. Or, because there's always more than one way, right? They have some, man, I don't even want to talk about that because I don't want to get no trouble. Let me ask a question. What if they had some type of irrevocable trust that you can set up where if it's passive income coming through that irrevocable, you can put it there. Put it there. Thank you. I didn't know you had walked back in here. Oh, never mind. I didn't know you walked in here. You look like you've been working out. But what if you what if there was a trust irrevocably? You already know, Lux, that you could have to where you can have passive income come through that trust and you never get taxed on that passive income coming through that trust. What if that was a real thing? What if it was a way to make your LLC and put your LLC in a position where your LLC is never taxed, ever? It's a big world out here, y'all. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want no smoke. And I know people going to hit me in the head. No, man, just go get you a C Corp and go get hit with that 21%. What if there's a way to where your beneficiaries, meaning your kids under the age of 18, everything that you do for them, it becomes a business expense? What if there's a way to make those things happen? You can't even wrap your brain around this stuff. Why? Because you only know as far as you got in your life. And that's what's wild about this stuff, y'all. Over the years, as I've been looking at all these different things, the reason why I can get on these live platforms and say, I ain't got no bills, because I don't. Kids ain't expensive. It's just when you know better, you do better, y'all. When you know better, you do better. I only had about 45 minutes on here, y'all. I wasn't going to be in here too long. Y'all check this out. For my law-abiding citizen and my people that haven't subscribed to Zabo 103 TV yet, get over there and subscribe. The course is doing what the course is doing over there. A new episode of the course is coming out tonight. A new episode of the course is coming out tonight. These are things that are going to help you connect the dots, boys and girls. 100%. It just is what it is. And that's scary. You see, I need to know. I know what I need. And what? $10? It was $10. It's $12.99 a month now. If you haven't subscribed already, get your butt over there and subscribe, because we're going to continue going up. So look, y'all, I'm going to get up off here. I'll be back on here a little bit later on to tap in with y'all. In the meantime, look, y'all be good or have fun being bad. And I'll see y'all probably a little bit later. Peace.